You need to learn to think for yourself, because I believe that most people cannot. Not that they're incapable, but that they just don't know how to do it. And for the most part, I don't really blame them, because if you look at how you were raised, then you never really had an opportunity to learn for the vast majority of people. As an infant, obviously, everything's done for you. Your parents are always going to help you with anything that you possibly need. Then when you hit 4 years old, you enter school, and secondary school especially, I would say 90% of that doesn't teach you how to do anything for yourself. It teaches you how to copy out of a book, and it teaches you not about any of the subjects that it claims to be teaching you about, but it teaches you how to pass a test on said subject. And you're basically just learning to be told what to do and be very obedient. And you're in school for 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, being told what to do. You come home, and right up until, I would say, probably early teens, depending on how your parents were, they probably did a lot of stuff for you. I see a lot of overbearing parents, and they mean well, but what they think is helping their child is going to do them no benefits in the long run. And then you're asleep for 8 hours. So when you add all this up, when do you ever really have time to learn to be able to think for yourself? Your whole life, you're just being told what to do and how to do it. So I don't blame people for not being able to think for themselves. And the reason that I wanted to make this video is because I'm reading the 48 Laws of Power, and I've had this conversation with a few people since I started reading this book. And I don't want to shit on the book, because there's a lot of good points, good points to be made from this book, good value to be taken away. And I've read probably, I don't know, around 30 of the 48 laws so far, because it's a very fucking big book. I didn't realize how long it was. But anyway, I've read probably 30, and I've noticed a very common theme is that a lot of the examples of, an observance of the law, as it's called in the book, is portrayed by some criminal, some war criminal, or some con artist, and it's just like, is that supposed to be who I'm role modeling off? Am I supposed to listen to that and think, oh yeah, I really want to be like Al Capone, or some, I think one of them's called like the Yellow Belly Kid or something like that, who's some massive con artist in the early 1900s, I believe. And I'm reading through like, why would I want to be anything like this guy? A lot of the book teaches you how to deceive and connive your way to the top, and it claims that it's the only way to do it. I just absolutely don't believe that. I believe there's people that will believe in the 48 Laws of Power and will follow these rules, and there's people that believe in books like How to Win Friends and Influence People. Two very different sides of the story. And I really don't believe whatsoever in having to step on anyone else for you to grab the fruit. I think there's enough for everybody. There is so much abundance in this world that there's enough to go around for everybody, and you don't have to shit on other people and crush them to get what you want. There's enough for both of you to reach the top. But the reason I say this is because I have the ability to extract what is going to impact me positively and discard any of the points that I just don't agree with. But most people will read through this book, and because they are unable to think for themselves, they haven't learned the skill of being able to do it, they're basically being brainwashed. They're just taking religiously reading through this book and taking in everything and thinking that it's gospel, when, like I say, there's always two sides to a coin. There's two ways to achieve goals, and I just never see a reason why you should have to step on other people to get what you want. I use brainwashing in a negative sense there, but I think we're always being brainwashed in a sense, one way or another. if you're watching content on YouTube, whoever it is, there's an essence of them putting their thoughts into your head, and sometimes subconsciously you're taking them in, even if you are, as I say, not consciously acting out whatever they've taught you to do. It's still seeping in, and it's still taking roots in your mind. And it can be a very good thing. It can be a very good thing, and sometimes I try to seek out to be brainwashed so I can adopt some of these thought patterns of people that are more successful than me. So by watching content on YouTube and reading books, then yeah, you get, in a sense, you're being brainwashed by these people that are more successful, and you're becoming more like them in a sense, which can be a very good thing. But it's crucial to know, like, what is true to you and what you believe will progress you to being a person that you want to be in the future. So a lot of the points in 48 Laws of Power, I don't agree with. I don't want to be that kind of person. Whereas How to Win Friends, Influence People, that I would rather identify more with that kind of person there. But I'm still able to read through 48 Laws of Power and extract all of the good points and discard the bad, because I know how to think for myself. So I'm not just taking everything I hear as gospel. I'm not just taking everything that I see on social media and believing that it's the truth, or believing that it's the way that you should behave. Because there's a lot of people on the internet telling you, you know, the guys in the red pill space telling you this is how you should treat women. And people will go and do it when, like, rappers say don't eat pussy. But you're a kind of like, I eat pussy, I enjoy it. But there's guys that will hear some rapper say I don't eat pussy and think it's not cool to eat pussy. That's not you thinking for yourself, that's you being told what to do and neglecting your true self just because you heard some rapper say something online. And it's just like, it's more nuanced than that as well. Through everyday life, there's these points, reels on social media, like everything you see is projecting a opinion onto you, and it's your job to understand which opinions align with who you are and which ones don't. And I just tie in quickly to a video that I made recently. I think it's called the Blue Sky Mind or something like that. I made it a couple of days ago, and it's kind of that same thing where you have to have an open mind, take in all the information, just like with the 48 Laws of Power. I'm reading through the whole book. I would say I don't necessarily agree with more than 50% of the stuff that he's saying, but even on some of the laws that I don't agree with, I'm able to extract at least a nugget of value, and I can sort of spin it in a way that is beneficial to me. Let's try to think of an example quickly. I think there's one that I read, I think it was last night that I read this, and it was on creating a cult following. And the way that the book demonstrates it is basically saying, lie to the people, be vague, promise them stuff, and don't really give them what they ask for. Be vague enough so that you can get away with not delivering, deceive them, and create a following so that they can give you money, basically. And black and white face value, I don't agree with that. As I say, I don't believe that you have to deceive and connive your way to the top. But I apply that to someone like Hamza, per se. The guy has followed all the steps that were in this particular chapter of the book, and I can see that after reading it. But he's managed to do it in a way that hasn't, you know, no one's been left out of pocket, no one's been done over, because he's providing them with as much value as he possibly can, and in return he's receiving value. So And I'm only able to do this because I have the ability to think for myself through meditation and introspective work and all kinds of stuff like that. So just be a little bit more conscious when scrolling through social media or reading books and think, do I actually agree with this point? Do I actually agree with this? Does this align with my true self? And if not, is there still some value that you can take away from it and put your own kind of spin on it, like I did with the cult following thing? That's just some food for thought.